A lot of people don't know that the man behind this company was Stuart Morrison. People refer to our brokerage now as Stuart Morrison, like it's a company, but he actually was a person. And he was a pretty dynamic entrepreneur. We farmed west of Little Britain, and my mom, who also was a pretty dynamic business person too, but officially was a registered nurse, worked out of our home. So I spent a lot of time with my dad and ran behind him, looking after the farm, going to the sale barn, and meeting lots of people. Through the farming business, Dad became involved in the Federation of Agriculture, and he was asked to do a shift in the Federation of Agricultural booth at the local fair. And while doing that, cooperators who was somehow associated with the Federation of Agriculture had a booth beside. They listened to my dad talk to people, and he knew everyone and seemed to just enjoy chatting with people. So they approached him after the fair was over and said, "Have you ever thought about selling insurance?" Which, of course, being a full-time farmer and always looking to make a little bit of extra cash, he said, "No, but I'll give it a shot." So he went to work for Cooperators, then known as CIAG, and he said that he got the best training possible with that company. However, it was a single company, so he could not represent other insurance companies. He could only represent CIAG, now known as Cooperators, and so he felt that he was limited in what he could make available to a growing client base. He sold insurance right out of the back kitchen of our farmhouse and off the combine, but eventually got busy enough that he wanted to do something more. And as a family, we helped him open an office in Sunderland. We bought a small agency there in the early 70s. And he had every single client that he had written with Cooperators follow him, which was about 300 clients at the time. I was only in elementary school in those days, not to give away my age, but we did help him. All of my sisters helped him write down information about these clients and bring them forward. Once he got set up in Sunderland, it was very soon after that an insurance company approached him about possibly buying an agency in Woodville that was floundering a little bit. So again, I came home and helped him. By then I had been off to Conestoga College doing a business course there, but came back and helped him get that office set up. Once I graduated from Conestoga, Dad came down to pick me up, and on the way home we bought a brand new Oldsmobile Omega, and he said, "I think you need to come and work with me and sell insurance." So I said, "Sure." Anyway, he went on and sent me to Western University to get my broker's license, or agent's license it was then, and that was 1976. So Dad and I worked together for many years. In 1981, the Registered Insurance Brokers Organization came to be, and agents were then transferred to a self-regulatory body, and we were now called brokers. Through that process, we were required to incorporate, and we became not just Stuart Morrison Insurance, but Stuart Morrison Insurance Brokers Limited. Dad struggled with that a little bit because he felt a great ownership of the company that was in his name. Throughout the 80s, the company continued to grow, and we opened an office in Lindsay, full-time. And the 2 part-time offices with 2 part-time people and 2 manual typewriters became full-time offices with much more eloquent equipment, and eventually we automated in the late 80s. During the 1980s, I got married to Ken Nichols, and throughout the 80s we had 3 daughters. They became very independent because I was working with my dad all the time, but they made our life very interesting as well, and Dad was very much a family person. So they were in and out of the offices. As they grew up, they worked part-time with us. And we moved into the 1990s, where we expanded our operations even more and eventually really upped the ante on the technology piece. and introduced in the late 90s a little bit of better branding with a feather pen. And my dad thought that was great because a lady that he knew very well did the artwork for that. And so he was always very proud of the feather pen and what was attached to that, the strength and the history of the company. In 2000, just for a little fun, Garnet Bryden introduced Stuart the bear. This was a 8-foot, custom-made, big blue bear that added a bit of fun and a bit of flexibility to our marketing plan. Dad thought it was great. We wrote a jingle that went with the bear and became a little more warm and cuddly, I guess you would say. My dad started to winter in Texas and was a great person for making people feel that they could do anything, including me. And so I got the opportunity to basically run the business the way that I thought it should be. So our business progressed quite rapidly. From the 300 clients in the early 70s, we now have over 8,000. We have 5 offices. We are a highly technical company, and I think pretty well branded. We're working on new websites and new innovation all the time. And I think of my dad every day as I work through the challenges that are presented to business owners, in particular women in business. And I know he would be very proud of what we've accomplished.